How is it now? Is it better?
Yes, Prabhuji, it will better. Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to speak loudly. Please let me know in case it is still low.
Okay, Prabhuji. Okay.
So I was very happy to go through the chapter yesterday because it was reminding me of so many aspects of Srila Prabhupada, which we cannot get in the purports of Srila Prabhupada, the way he dealt with the devotees intimately. Because personally, I feel there is a lot of things to be learned from there also, and which is very practical and which is very motivating. So I am very thankful for this opportunity, and I sincerely beg the blessings and prayers of all the assembled devotees that I can share through Parampara in the line of Parampara for the pleasure of all the devotees assembled, for the pleasure of the Lordships, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Sudramai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai, and for my own purification. So one of the devotees was sharing in the earlier days of my Krishna consciousness that if we read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrtha, then we can really get the zeal of practicing Krishna consciousness, the zeal for preaching, and our enthusiasm will be on. Because so many odds and difficulties which Srila Prabhupada faced, and how practically he used to deal. Many situations are there even today, and we may wonder how to deal with them. But when I read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrtha, I feel all the answers are over there. And that gives me the most pleasure to read Lilamrtha. And personally, I feel that I'll be continuing even after this to read further. So this is our today's discussion will focus on around just before Prabhupada visited Boston in around 1968, May 1st. And after going back to India for the first time from USA, so this part we will try to discuss, and the following part will be just after Prabhupada arrival in Boston. So Srila Prabhupada was back in India because of his health issues, and he had requested Satswarup Das Maharaj, Satswarup Das Goswami Maharaj, to be there and preach. So along with him, there was Hamsaduta Maharaj, and previously Hamsaduta Prabhu, and his wife Hemavati Mataji, and Jadurani Mataji, the famous painter, who were there at this that time. And Prabhupada was being intimated about all the activities and what and all they were doing in a letter. So Prabhupada was ensuring them that, encouraging them that yes, go on exploring the Boston venue, because there are a lot of colleges and students over there. So this will help our Krishna consciousness movement to spread far and wide, actually. And Srila Prabhupada was requesting Satswarup Das Maharaj for a lecture in Harvard as a lecturer, because in case he can come as a lecturer, his visa will again be sanctioned, or he will get a permanent residentship in USA. Satswarup Das Maharaj tried a lot. He went to many departments in Harvard University. The faculty members were sending him from one place to another, and hardly they were giving him audience. But some of them were eagerly hearing also that what kind of Swamiji is this, what kind of learned personality is this. But nobody actually turned up for the offer to have him as a lecturer in the university. So Srila Prabhupada actually saw then that Satswarup Das Maharaj has finally arranged for a lecture, for a guest lecture in Harvard University, and he was pleased. But although he told in the letter that a permanent lectureship offer should have been the best, finally Prabhupada, it was November 1967, and Prabhupada's health was not yet fully recovered. He was almost recovered, but not yet still ready to fly back to USA. And that is how he was not able to attend that lecture. He was not able to make it up. And finally, Satswarup Das Maharaj, Jadurani Mataji, and Hamsaduta Prabhu, they only managed the show and answered the questions at the university students, and they send a report to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada told, and the US New York Times, the headings told that the Hare Krishna prophets address the people. So when this news went to Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada was very happy that in his absence they could manage, and they are behaving as prophets of Krishna consciousness. So in that way, they used to keep getting the encouragement from Srila Prabhupada, even from India. And then finally he came to, before coming to San Francisco, Srila Prabhupada came in the dreams just before coming to San Francisco from India in Satswarup Das Maharaj dream. And that is how the devotees were so much imbibed and absorbed in serving Srila Prabhupada, and they had almost no other connection that time. So when Prabhupada came to San Francisco, he had a phone call to all these devotees, these three devotees who were there, and each of them shared with each other what Prabhupada actually talked. Jadurani Mataji asked about Prabhupada's health, and Satsrup Das Maharaj was telling that Prabhupada, we are missing you. And then when they shared with each other, actually, Hamsaduta Maharaj and Hemavati Mataji had shifted back to Los Angeles because they were not getting proper facilities in Boston. So to replace them, Pradyumna Prabhu had come. So now these were the three devotees who had a call with Prabhupada, and they were so happy to have to directly talk with Prabhupada that they were ecstatic and rolling on the floor. So when Prabhupada returned to India, actually there was not much hopes. But Krishna, he was sharing Srila Prabhupada that Krishna has told him that I won't die immediately. He told he was getting inspiration from his own disciples, because his disciples, even in his absence, were doing so much in Boston that hearing all this news, Prabhupada was telling that I am getting inspiration. So he was reciprocating with them that actually you are all my spiritual masters, and although you are only 3 in Boston, but you should work hard like 300 men over there. So when actually Srila Prabhupada had given some specific task to all these 3 devotees, to Jadurani Mataji, as we know, to do a lot of paintings for the Srimad Bhagavatam, and she was not much trained actually. And so Prabhupada sometimes used to laugh seeing her pictures, but Prabhupada was very pleased because she was chanting and she was doing as per the instructions of Prabhupada. She did not have any other source instruction, but whatever Prabhupada used to instruct, she used to follow. So Srila Prabhupada told Jadurani Mataji, if she stayed absorbed while doing these paintings everywhere, wherever she goes, that place will be Vrindavan. So he instructed Jadurani Mataji to collect some more female Mataji disciples so that they can flood the whole world with Krishna conscious paintings. And Prabhupada told the paintings of Krishna and related pastimes are the window to the spiritual world, and instructed her in many of the details of the pictures. And Srila Prabhupada once, when Jadurani Mataji asked that she draw a Narada Muni, which was looking very, very so-called, young and very lusty kind of a personality. And seeing this picture of Narada Muni, Prabhupada was little not very happy. And Jadurani Mataji also proposed Prabhupada that should I engage in selling the photographs. So when these remarks were made, Prabhupada was little critical to Jadurani Mataji that you are already a good artist. Why you want to engage in making your name and fame more? You should just simply stick to paint the pictures for the pleasure of the devotees. Even if we are not able to sell, just be happy and satisfied by hanging the pictures in our temple premises. Our whole goal is to please Krishna and not the general public. The general public will not be able to appreciate, and we should not compromise and spend so much time in drawing artistic pictures. So when this reply, strong reply came from Prabhupada to Jadurani Mataji, so she became little morose, and in the reply, she just wrote 3 lines. And when Prabhupada saw these 3 lines, he understood that Jadurani Mataji has felt bad and morose, and he again replied back, trying to pacify that why he was telling like this, that why we should not deviate, and tried to pacify her. And then she became okay and started again focusing on her paintings. Then when it came to Pradyumna Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada told that that you should study Sanskrit and help me in Srimad Bhagavatam translation. So Pradyumna Prabhu took it very, very seriously, and he was hoping that he would be of good service in the translation work. And Satsvarup Maharaj also got a special assignment to help typing and editing the Srimad Bhagavatam before Prabhupada came back to US and even after coming back from US. So the typing work of Satsvarup Das Maharaj was actually began, and he used to sit in kitchen in the Boston storefront. Yeah, I forgot to tell you about the storefront a little incidents. Actually, when they were staying in a place which was not in the students community, and they tried to hire a place in the students community, and they just wrote the address and about the prospects to Prabhupada when he was in India. So Prabhupada was so very happy, and he had returned a reply also. So before the reply, uh, these people had never gone to that storefront area. So one day when Satsvarup Das Maharaj went to the Boston storefront, which was there in student community, he just stepped in and he saw that the area is small and there are not much facilities. And then he was going back, and when he was going back, he saw a letter down. So then he opened, and it was Prabhupada's letter. So he was so much surprised with pleasure to see Prabhupada's letter, that how Prabhupada has entered before, Prabhupada's letter has entered even before he came. So it was like Prabhupada was waiting to welcome Satsvarup Das Maharaj, he felt. And he read the reply with so much joy, that it is very nice that you people have acquired a storefront in Boston, and we would like to do preaching very fast in that area, and please call me and arrange lectures for me. So this was one memorable event for Maharaj, that how Prabhupada's letter and Prabhupada's enthusiasm is so much that the letter has come through the post, and through so many posts it has reached to New York, and which is such an important thing for them, which a postman may not realize it. So when again and again he was getting letters from the India and San Francisco, Satsvarup Das Maharaj, whenever he saw a postman in US, he was having very soft feelings for them, because he always connected that to Srila Prabhupada's letters. So when he was performing this translation work, once he had a doubt, because one word was not very clear in the tape recorder, in the audio. So he was hearing a word course, but actually Prabhupada had written force. So when such discrepancy was happening, then Prabhupada immediately wrote that you should send me one copy back to me in San Francisco, and you should also keep one copy of edited lectures. So then there will be no confusion, and that is how Prabhupada used to take so much small care for even small doubts which Satsvarup Das Maharaj had in writing and editing the books. So we can understand that actually Prabhupada, and we have heard before also, that he used to actually wait for 2 days when he was not getting a proper word for the Sanskrit. So this is with great care and pain Srila Prabhupada has translated and written the Bhaktivedanta purports. Sometimes Srila Satsvarup Das Maharaj, because he used to get up early in the morning, when he was working, he was having a job, and when he used to go in the bus to his office, he used to sleep because of the lack of sleep. And in the sleep, in the dream, actually he was translating or hearing Prabhupada's tape recorder or audio voice. That much he was absorbed in the services, and it had become a very personal service for Maharaj. And he was also sending the photos of the interiors of storefront to Prabhupada in San Francisco, that how they were actually living in the storefront. So Prabhupada replied that it is a very nice idea that all of you are doing nice Krishna conscious activity in the storefront. And Maharaj writes in the Lilamrtha that this nice idea was not from an interior designer point of view. Nice idea was because Prabhupada saw them doing Krishna related activities in the storefront. That is what make the whole idea about the storefront nice to Prabhupada. Otherwise, Prabhupada was never an interior designer. He is a devotee of Krishna. So all and everything what was being reported to Prabhupada, Prabhupada was seeing from an angle, and this was very much appreciated by them. And on asking for Pradyumna's hospital bill, once Pradyumna Prabhu had to undergo hernia operation. So Satsvarup Das Maharaj was wondering that how they will manage a bill of $500 because they did not have so much income, neither their relatives. And Pradyumna Prabhu's father and mother refused that they will be able to manage it. So with very much hesitation, he asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can you help us with this hospital bill of Pradyumna Prabhu? And Prabhupada was, although not directly, but indirectly, he told Satsrup Das Maharaj that actually I'm expanding the movement and there are concerns in every center. It is becoming difficult for me to manage so many centers, each disciples. So why don't you have a governing commission amongst yourself, and you can sort out these matters and help the devotees to be stable and practice Krishna consciousness. And I can also focus on my services. Otherwise, it becomes difficult. So Satsrup Das Maharaj was ready. Whatever reply Prabhupada gives, he will share with the devotees, and somehow they managed the bill. And then Prabhupada was very inquisitive that about how is the health of Pradyumna Prabhu. So whenever they used to ask that Prabhupada, now it is time coming nearby, as you told, you will be was visiting Boston. So we are trying to arrange a place nearby because in the storefront it may be a little austere. And the Prabhupada heard about the place. He told it is okay, provided the place should be silent and it should be separately meant for me. So then I am happy to even walk. Only there should not be a hill. Otherwise, climbing the hill and to reach the storefront will be difficult from my accommodation. Just make sure that I can walk and come. And on arriving, when Prabhupada actually arrived in May 1st, 1968, that time Jadurani Mataji went to airport to receive Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was talking to Jadurani Mataji about how his painting works are going on. Then Jadurani Mataji told Prabhupada, actually, Satsrup Das Maharaj goes for work in office, and Pradyumna Prabhu is busy with his Sanskrit translation. So all the advertisement, because you were coming, we had to print posters and go to the marketplaces and do advertisement. And this new place which we acquired for you took a lot of time, and I could not actually focus on the service which you gave. So Prabhupada told, no problem. I am not going to stay for a long time, and don't worry, it will not be a botheration for you. So when she heard like this, later on, not immediately, when Jadurani Mataji came back to the storefront with Prabhupada, Satsrup Das Maharaj also offered obeisances, and he was busy cooking for Prabhupada. He was making many feast items, puri, sabji, sweet rice, halwa. When Prabhupada saw, he was amazed that, oh, you are doing many nice things. And then he saw a poster inside the kitchen where Prabhupada's photo was there, and so many events which were being organized by Satsrup Das Maharaj. So Prabhupada was amazed. He lifted up his eyebrows and told, you have arranged 1 full month of program for me. So Prabhupada was very happy. And then Satsrup Das Maharaj continued cooking, and Jadurani Mataji made Prabhupada comfortable in a cushion with a pillow, etc. And Prabhupada was just reclining back. And then Jadurani Mataji told that, why don't you take rest, Prabhupada? Because you might have come by flight. Then Prabhupada told, no, I have taken rest in the flight already. Then Jadurani Mataji told, maybe you can take some more rest. Then Prabhupada told, I am not meant to take rest day and night. So like that, Prabhupada's reply was there. Then Prabhupada, after some time, he just came outside the room and he was seeing the other rooms of the storefront. So many devotees were actually taking rest and they were snoring. So then he understood and he learned that many devotees had come from New York to Boston, and they were there to overnight. They had struggled to keep everything clean and arrange rooms and then have a meeting with Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada finally took the meals when it was ready. In between, he asked for Satsrup Das Maharaj, but Maharaj told that he was too busy cooking. So Pradyumna Prabhu told Satsrup Das Maharaj may not be able to come. And finally, Prabhupada took the meals, and then he started speaking on Krishna, how Krishna is there in Vrindavan. And here, Jadurani Mataji again recalls, after Prabhupada gave an address to all the devotees, that Prabhupada, actually, I'm feeling very bad. Jadurani Mataji is telling that I told that your coming was a botheration and I could not do your service. Actually, many times Satsrup Das Maharaj gives me services related to center, and I am not able to do the painting work. So there is a little confusion in me that what should I give more importance? What should I give priority? So I was also having similar doubt that sometimes such happens with me also. But then Prabhupada's clear answer was that the direct instruction of Srila Prabhupada should be given the most importance. Unless the direct instruction of Srila Prabhupada, I mean the Guru is not there, then surely we should give importance to the other authorities. And generally, even what happens in the current scenario, that the Gurus will always tell that please cooperate with the local authorities, and that is how it becomes very nice cooperative. But this was one instance where Prabhupada told that the direct instruction of Guru is what should be given the most importance, because these were different times. Here Prabhupada was there personally present, so in that way we have to understand it. And yeah, and then Prabhupada was describing about Vrindavan further, that how devotees used to see him in Vrindavan when he was having his quarters in Vrindavan. He saw the storefront pathway, and he will tell that whenever devotees used to come, they will address him as Jai Radhe. And Prabhupada also looked back to the pathway of storefront of Boston and told that I will reply to them by telling Jai Radhe. So this is how the women actually, it is a place of Radharani, he was explaining to the devotees, and a woman is always a soft and kind-hearted, and that is how we can understand how Srimati Radharani is very, very much bhakti personified, and she is so much affectionate to all the devotees, and she showers her blessings of bhakti. She is the Bhakti Janani, the Rasa Tattva, which is originating, the Bhakti which is originating from her. So these were the topics Prabhupada was describing, and then he inquired, okay, now what are the preaching avenues which are there listed for me? And then Srila Prabhupada told that we will be going first to Northeastern University, and then Harvard University, and then MIT, which is the one of the most famous in the all over the world. And like that, so many venues were being fixed for Prabhupada program and events. So the first one was Northeastern University, and the moment Prabhupada entered with few of the disciples, so many students were going, and Prabhupada and disciples were walking very gravely, and suddenly at the entrance Prabhupada saw a dog's statue. So he was very much amused, and disciples were already knowing that Prabhupada knows that how the Americans are very much fond of a dog, and he was Satsrudaras Maharaj was relating that because people are not worshipping God, so they are keeping dogs now. And finally, when you had 200 students who were waiting, and Prabhupada, the talk was very philosophical. Prabhupada talked about the absolute truth, that how absolute truth can be compared to the three aspects of absolute truth, Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Brahman. He compared to the sun, sun deity, sun planet, and the sun rays. And then afterwards he also explained about how the Hare Krishna mantra is a powerful sound vibration, which means that we have to again come back to the internal energy of the Lord. Currently we are serving the external energy. So like this he was explaining, and suddenly it was a half-an-hour talk, and a bell rang in the college, and abruptly Prabhupada had to end the class, and students just immediately walked out. They were hearing for half an hour, and then they had to walk out. But then the wife of the manager, the principal over there, she came immediately walking, and Prabhupada also heard what she had to tell. She was appreciating that all of them have appreciated Prabhupada, Swamiji, your lecture. And Prabhupada was invited once again, and they gave $100 bill. They told Satsrudas Maharaj will be sending. Prabhupada considered this also as a success. Although apparently there was not even a single question which had come, but Prabhupada told that this event was a success. And at other place, just after this, there were only 6 students in a chapel. A chapel was a big hall, and only 6 students were gathering. And Prabhupada did the kirtan even in the Northern Eastern University. Wherever he went, almost he did kirtans. And he told about the same philosophy, how he was talking in the Northeastern University. But one student at the end asked about Advaita philosophy. That is what you are talking is of Advaita philosophy. Then Prabhupada asked him that what do you understand about Advaita philosophy? Then that student told that Advaita philosophy means all in one. All the paths lead to one goal. And he gave analogy also that how the rivers meet in the ocean. Similarly, all the paths ultimately merge in one spot. So Prabhupada thoroughly defeated that argument, telling that although the rivers go into the ocean, but they still get evaporated by sun and they go to different places. Similarly, from that oneness, there is variegatedness also which come out. And then the student remained silent. Then the next avenue was of MIT, MIT Cambridge University. For some Indian organization unit had invited him, but there was very poor arrangements. Prabhupada is there, 100 students are waiting for the class to begin, and Prabhupada is saying that none of the things have come, neither the mic system, nor the instruments, neither the devotees, not even a picture of Krishna. So Satsrudas Maharaj told Maharaj, Prabhupada, do you want a Krishna picture? Prabhupada told, no, picture is not important. Then because Kirtan instruments had not come, devotees had not come, then Satsrudas Maharaj played audio of Hare Krishna album. So Prabhupada was just hearing and clapping, and students were hearing. So after the album got over, then he started lecturing, and he boldly started lecturing without any hesitation that what is this university? There is no department of soul. We have heard this before. He was telling that actually that is what is the identity of a living entity, and you have no science about the soul in your college. So after giving this very strong talk, there were questions coming up. And the first question was that there was a U-shaped metal structure which was there behind Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada saw behind. That student asked, what is that metal? What does it signify? And Prabhupada saw behind and he understood. He did not understand. So he told, I don't know about this. Maybe it is some technological symbol. That was his answer. But actually, what was the thing? Devotees had brought that stand for keeping Krishna photo, and the Krishna photo never came only. So then the next question was, why do you wear a tilak? What is this sign on your forehead? So Prabhupada explained that. Then another sign came. What are the neck beads what you are wearing? So Prabhupada was feeling that this kind of questions are not very intriguing, or it is not very much relevant in the subject matter what I have discussed. I have just now discussed about the soul, and your department is not having soul. So then when he was very straightforward like this, then some of the Indian students, they started asking questions to Prabhupada. One of the argument of a student was that about this again, Advaita, all in one, taking he was asking that he was not understanding. He was going on arguing again and again. Previously in the chapel also, where 6 students came, Prabhupada was commenting that this kind of questions are very hackneyed or not very intelligent questions. People are just talking about Advaita philosophy, the same thing. They should ask something very relevant also. And then again this question came. So this boy was arguing, almost Prabhupada had left the lecture hall, and he was continuing to argue that no, everything is after all one. Then Prabhupada caught his collar and he told, is this collar coming from cotton balls? This cloth piece has come from cotton balls. Then why don't you wear cotton balls? Why do you wear this cloth? If the cloth and the cotton balls are the same, then why don't you wear the cotton balls? So he was amazed by the Prabhupada's reaction. Then disciples saw that how the Indians, almost all the gatherings after MIT lecture, where most of them were Indians, and they were speaking very harshly in a challenging spirit to Prabhupada. And Brahmananda Prabhu was there, Satsrudas Maharaj was there, and they were observing that how these Indians are reacting. This is not the way a Swamiji should be dealt with. So this was some of the incidences how Prabhupada was dealing. And Srila Prabhupada had to actually break the engagement, and he had to argue with this arguing technologies. But he considered this meeting a very, very big success. So till this, I could go through and see the part. So there is further lot of incidences which happen in Boston. which Srila Prabhupada Satsvarup Das Maharaj narrates it. But this is what I could actually hear. And from these incidences, I could recall some few more incidences which happened elsewhere, where Prabhupada was very, very strict on preaching, strict on the Vaishnava etiquettes in the storefront, and he used to relate it. So, although this is not the part of the chapter, but try to relate it, and then we can open for discussion. So, when Srila Prabhupada used to see that the devotees were trying to gather audience in Africa, then Prabhupada was telling that they were only preaching to Indians in the Africa. So Prabhupada told, where are the Africans? We want to actually preach the local people and make them into the devotees. And so currently we see that in America, His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu has also made Boston as his base and trying to go to various places from there, especially the colleges and schools. And he has started a 50-day program of how to become a yogi in 50 days. So Prabhupada wanted that this should happen. The locals should be also preached. And currently the US preaching is kind of little bit not as much as how it was before during Prabhupada's time. So this was the specificity of Prabhupada. He never compromised in telling the truth, even if it was the Western audience. And then when it was coming to a big crowd or a small crowd, Prabhupada's approach was the same. He used to do the kirtan and propagate the same intensity. And whenever some relevant thing needs to be spoken, he used to speak. But never he was bewildered or compromised or lack of enthusiasm by seeing the number of people. He told that we are not here to actually please the general public. We are here to please Krishna. And by our speaking, if Krishna is pleased, then that is our success. It doesn't matter that how many people are coming. And when it came to dealings with the devotees, he was also not just pampering them, but he was always making them work more and more hard. And at many places, he had sometimes engagement of around 10 to 12 programs in a day. So the assistant was actually young-bodied, but not able to cope up with Prabhupada, because he used to go half an hour one program, 1 hour one program, and go immediately next. And the assistant had to literally run to catch up with Prabhupada's speed. And then at the end, Prabhupada will be coming very blissful, trying to do many programs and having opportunity to speak to Krishna. And when the disciples had some misbehavior kind of a thing, like they used to keep the fan on, or they used to slang the doors, and immediately Prabhupada will be irritated, and he will make a remark that why such thing is happening. He was very angry when he used to hear like this. In the same spirit, he used to train the devotees and try to get them more and more familiar to the culture of Krishna consciousness. So one incident what I recall is that how Srila Prabhupada was dealing with the leaders in the ISKCON. Once Srila Prabhupada, I saw that once in Calcutta temple, His Holiness Jayapatak Swami Maharaj was the temple president, and GBC was His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So Prabhupada used to have a lot of faith and trust on the presidents. Wherever he used to go, he used to appreciate them because they were taking the major responsibilities. So because Srila Prabhupada was coming and visiting, and there were any problems, he used to help in solving. Once His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj had actually removed Jayapatak Swami Maharaj from the president post. And when Prabhupada arrived there, then he reinstated Maharaj, Jayapatak Maharaj in the post. So this was not only once, but it happened almost 11 times. Can you imagine? Maharaj was being removed from president for not 1, 2, 3. And His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj was so intimate with Prabhupada also. So how can Jayapataka Maharaj tell no to such an instruction? But then this went on happening, and surprisingly, even after Prabhupada's leaving the planet, both of them maintained very, very good relationship. Actually, there was no envy, because the center point was to please Prabhupada. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was GBC, Jayapataka Maharaj was president. Relatively, Maharaj was junior to Tamal Krishna Maharaj, But still, Maharaj made an attempt to ask him, "Are you envious of me?" And then surely there was no such thing. And when Tamal Krishna Maharaj left his body, it was Jayapataka Maharaj who first went and approached him to see. So this friendship was there because of the common factor of love for Srila Prabhupada. The disciples of Prabhupada were so much attracted to Srila Prabhupada, which made them survive with each other, go on with the odds, and cooperating with each other. So that is why His Grace Acharya Ratna Prabhu, temple president of Calcutta, that time he was mentioning that whenever His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj used to go to such centers where there were some problems, immediately, very with innocent heart, he will ask, "Are you envious of each other?" No. So we may talk indirectly, we may start and then come to a later point. But his heart is so innocent that directly he will come to the point and he will try to solve the matters. And like this, so many centers, the problems have been solved and things are going on in India and abroad also. So what I learned from this personally, that the heart is very soft and it is so much attached to Srila Prabhupada that they are able to continue even after 40-50 years in Krishna consciousness. So the word in the verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which tells third canto 25th chapter 20th verse, prasangam ajaram pasham prasangam ajaram pasham moksha dwaram apavritam atmana kavayo vidu, which tells that the attachment to a devotee is what has to be transferred from the attachment to the material things. Prasangam ajaram pasham. This attachment to the material things are very, very strong, which has been accepted by many, many great people. Atmano kavayo vidu. Sa eva sadhushu krito. If this attachment is transferred to the sadhus, then moksha dwaram apavratam. It will open up the doors for liberation. So whenever we ask Srila Prabhupada disciples that where you want to go, what is your desire, so they only tell that I want to serve Srila Prabhupada wherever he is and wherever he is currently preaching. And if so Prabhupada desires, then it will surely happen. So this one of the sannyasis, I don't know the name, but he was mentioning that I don't know Sri Krishna, I don't know Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I know only Prabhupada. So this strong attachment actually is the foundation for Krishna consciousness. Even His Grace Radheshyam Prabhu, when he was addressing one of the brahmachari class, he was telling, why are you practicing Krishna consciousness? The reason, what is the strong reason? Is it to go back home, back to Godhead? So they were answering different reasons. We want to get rid of the material sufferings or go back home, back to Godhead. So all these are very superficial reasons. If you are practicing Krishna consciousness because you are attracted to one devotee strongly, then that will be a very strong foundation for you to bear the odds, because person Bhagavat is more important than book Bhagavat, because the person Bhagavat can guide, we can relate, we can develop a strong relation, and thereby we can go on and on for his pleasure. Because I love him, because I want to please him, I can do anything for Krishna consciousness. So this is what the Prabhupada's disciples imbued by Prabhupada's association. No doubt Prabhupada's personality is very great and the purity is very great. But if we can focus and get attachment to one devotee in our life, then we can also become very, very stable in our Krishna conscious practices. And we can always open our heart, we can share. Otherwise, there is nobody to share with. One of the reasons why the sannyasis who were falling down apparently after Prabhupada's departure, so there was a meeting held in Africa where it was decided what are the reasons for the sannyasis apparently falling away from Krishna consciousness. So the one of the topmost reason which was quoted was that they don't have anybody to share their inner concerns because they are on such a senior level. So we also sometimes after growing some time in Krishna consciousness don't find any friend or a intimate devotee to share with, or we are not attached to any such devotee, then it can really create problems for our progress. So in my life also personally, I have understood that how this factor of correlating and getting attached to a devotee is so very important. Otherwise, this Krishna consciousness can become a very dry venture when there is nobody to please to, when there is nobody to attach to. And how to create such an attachment, how to create such a bond, a strong bond, is to try sincerely by our own endeavors, by serving personalities whom we feel attracted to. And by that sincerity, surely Krishna reveals us that who is that personality whom we can. And sometimes we may feel attracted to very far off personalities, like some great speaker or some great Maharaj, and we are not able to get personal association or personal interaction. But then we have to understand what is that association or attachment. It is not simply geographical or physical association, but it is the association of his instructions. There are many sannyasis and disciples, like one of them is Devamrit Swami Maharaj, who has never actually met and talked with Prabhupada. Maybe it was only one interaction in Los Angeles BBT, where he had a word. Prabhupada came and just told one word to him after hearing about his introduction. And that's all. He could survive with that one reciprocation of Prabhupada throughout till today. So it is how we can relate with his instructions, which we can actually attach ourselves to, which is a very spiritual connection, not on a mental platform that we can relate to. So with this, some of the thoughts, I would like to pause for time in case there are any reflections or so, and then in Sankarshan Priya Prabhu can ask if there are any comments or questions, or else maybe one or two more pastimes we can share later. I think we have still 15 more minutes.
Yeah, we can share a couple of more pastimes and then we can pass for questions, Prabhuji.
Okay, bro. Yeah. So one of the pastime in I think it was in Boston Temple only, that Srila Prabhupada had been scheduled for a visit, and His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, His Holiness Niranjan Swami Maharaj had he was having an artistic background, and if I'm not wrong, he had actually prepared a whole room for Srila Prabhupada to stay. And Prabhupada finally chose another place, and then he felt that, oh, Prabhupada is actually purifying me, because I wanted Prabhupada to stay in my own, the room which I created. And the same happened with His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Actually, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj made the toilet ready, the commode and everything clean and very much flush, green, flush, all the things he made, it was appropriate. But when actually Prabhupada came, he chose to go outside in the natural setting. And that again made His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj very humble, that actually I am trying to serve in this way, but spiritual master is teaching that how we cannot actually conquer or win over in a spirit, that the spiritual master belongs and he will be pleased with our service only. He is independent, and in this way Krishna is teaching that how we should not be even puffed up with our own service. Sometimes we become very attached to our service. And the pastime of how His Holiness Maharaj, His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj was dealt with Srila Prabhupada when the entire US was having an uproar on his bus party, Radha Damodar party. So most of us are aware of this, but I would like to touch upon some finer aspects of this. That when Prabhupada came to know that many are not happy with His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj is taking away of many brahmacharis, and temple presidents were not happy that many devotees are going. Then there was a meeting. So in that meeting, many things came, and Tamal Krishna Maharaj was also there. And Maharaj did not speak anything. He was just listening in one corner. And after everybody expressed their concern and they left, Maharaj just quietly sat, and Prabhupada also just saw and did not have any conversation. But after some time, Maharaj expressed that Tamal Krishna Maharaj, that in case he was also confused as to what to do, what to speak, and how to solve the matter. And then out of that confusion, he told that I will go to China, because that is a regular saying in America, that if nobody wants to understand anything, he's not able to tell, he will, out of frustration, he will tell that I will go away to China. But then next day morning, Prabhupada was coming out of bathroom. It was Mangalarti time, and he was wearing his dhoti. And immediately he told his assistant, I don't remember if it was Satsvarup Maharaj only, he told, call Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj understood that what could be the response, because he was sensing something Prabhupada will tell which may not be so favorable. But Prabhupada just told him that it is a very good idea that you can go to China. Then Prabhupada, Tamal Krishna Maharaj told that, what about the bus party? That he told that you don't worry about the bus party. What you told was correct. You should go to China. And then Tamal Krishna Maharaj was before coming to meet Prabhupada. When the assistant was going to meet Maharaj and calling, he was refusing that I won't come to meet. I won't come to meet. But then Prabhupada again reiterated that he should come here. Then when the conversation was happening, if I am not wrong, it was Satsvarup Maharaj only, or then Prabhupada, when he was insisting that you should go to China, the another devotee assistant who was present, he was saying, no, I will go to China, because he was seeing that Tamal Krishna Maharaj is not ready. So then Prabhupada again told, no, not you. Tamal Krishna Maharaj should go to China. So he was very pakka on this. And then immediately after going for outside morning program, when Mangalarti ended, he announced Prabhupada that His Holiness Tamal Krishna Maharaj has agreed to go for China preaching, and all the devotees chanted Hari Bol. So then Tamal Krishna Maharaj was recollecting that how Prabhupada solved a very intense atmosphere. You can understand, many temple presidents and leaders have gathered to that center to propose Prabhupada about this very tough situation to handle, because Maharaj was having a very successful bus party. And but Prabhupada very intelligently solved this problem. So then Tamal Krishna Maharaj recalls that if at all I am existing here to please Krishna and Srila Prabhupada, then why should I not go to China? Why I am hesitating? So he recollects that actually it took little while to believe and to agree for that project. But then he told that that is what my master wants me to do. Then I should go to China. And then obviously he did tangible preaching in China also. So we can see what was the basis, why he could get rid of such a tough situation, because of his strong attachment to Prabhupada. Although such a successful preaching endeavor, if somebody is going through, it is very difficult to wind it up and leave it as it is. If the fruitive mentality is very strong, one may not be able to leave such a successful preaching project. But because the attachment was to Prabhupada and that was given the priority, he could come out of such a tough situation and could successfully solve the matter. So yes, so I could recollect this few pastimes of Prabhupada in this connection. Yeah, if there is anything you can share, in case I remember one or two more, I will still share one or two more pastimes. If anybody has any comments, please can share. I'm sure many devotees are assembled here.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat, thank you very much for sharing the nectar from Srila Prabhupada Lilamrtha, and also your experience by hearing from other devotees. Thank you. Hare Krishna devotees, I have unmuted the lines. You may please share your reflection or comments, please. Is somebody able to unmute and speak, or?
Maybe they may be able to do, but in case there is no comments, then I have recalled one more pastime.
I think there is some technical issue, Prabhu. 1 minute. I think they are not able to unmute. Can you try, Mataji, Radharani Mataji? Can you try now? Are you able to unmute?
Yes, Prabhu. Now we can.
Thank you, Mataji. Any questions or comments from devotees?
Very nice lecture, and so many pastimes of Prabhupada. We enjoyed it today, Prabhuji. Actually, today morning also, a small lecture I was hearing. I was thinking how Prabhupada used to handle so many questions of all types of people. Whatever they ask, he used to, without any tension, he used to give answers. I was thinking, if you would have been there in that place, would have thought, yes, gone. You will not be able to answer now, gone. But he was so calm, so nicely was answering. So I heard that in today's small lecture, Prabhupada, he was telling that all are so busy to go to the churches or to the mosque to asking for the bread. They want always, they want wants everything, all the desires to be fulfilled. So why we are behind the bread? Krishna is anyway supplying everything, but why we are, our tension is our bread, not to go back to the garden. Yes, thank you so much, Prabhuji. We enjoyed your all the pastimes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji, for encouraging. From the bread pastime, we recall in Russia when some of the communist parties were standing outside the church and asking the visitors from the church that what did you ask, and they used to ask bread, and the communist will ask, did you get your bread? And they will tell no, so here is your bread, and they will be ready with a truck full of bread. And Prabhupada will, when he hears such a thing, then he will chastise both the communist and those people who will take the bread. And because communists will tell, now tell me, who is greater, your God or we? So Prabhupada will chastise the thing that these are Shudra mentality, that these people don't have brains to understand that from where the communist got the bread. Was it from sky or from they manufactured? All the things, ingredients of the bread they got from earth, from the rain which was supplied by God. So this question, because it is not coming, they are not very intelligent people, like that Prabhupada used to tell, and that increases our conviction and our connection to the Lord. Thank you, Mataji.
Prabhu, you will continue the rest of the chapter. You have completed.
Not Mataji. I have hardly completed 30%.
Yes.
Prabhuji, Shankar Shanitai Prabhu, I requested in case I can get one more slot, or somebody else can take in after the Govardhan Puja. But yes, I have not completed the chapter. I could not do that, Mataji. I sincerely beg for forgiveness. I got some engagements and could not do that.
Yes, Mataji, you will continue this, the following Wednesday
after Govardhan Puja.
Yes. Govardhan Puja.
Yes.
To end with one pastime, in case there is time, 2 minutes.
Sure,
yes, Prabhuji.
So I was recalling about Prabhupada conversation with His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj when he was his personal assistant. So it was in his last days when Prabhupada was not able to eat or drink. And since Bhakti Charu Maharaj was the one who made prasad for Prabhupada cooking, so whenever he used to take, Prabhupada used to refuse that I am not able to eat, my appetite is not there. So, but then as a disciple, as a assistant, as a servant, every day he used to think whether should I cook today or not, because 2-3 days it happened and he was not able to feed, and Prabhupada was also not taking, actually maybe some juice or something he was taking, and he was refusing the meals prepared by Bhakti Charu Maharaj because of the lack of appetite. And but seeing him coming again and again, because as a disciple he was not able to stop and offering that. So Prabhupada one day literally became very strong and angry that why you people are not able to understand that we are not the body, we are the soul. And that is why I have been repeating in my purports, in my books, my lectures, even though people ask why you have written the same thing again and again. Maybe I will have to quit my body, and then only you will understand that what is the importance of this subject. Better you go and preach rather than wasting time to prepare prasad for me. So when he gave such a heavy wording, Bhakti Charu Maharaj was able to completely, he was almost shocked, and he was recollecting that this was one incident which was very unforgettable for him, and how Prabhupada was even concerned at such a fag end of his pastimes also, that it is so important to convince his disciples about the knowledge of the soul and the realization of the soul. So that is when Prabhupada tells that till you don't realize, I will keep telling again and again. So Prabhupada was genuinely concerned so that his disciples take up this very seriously also. Thank you, and hopefully we will discuss and complete the Boston chapter in our next Prabhupada Lilamrtha class. I beg for forgiveness in case I could not do proper justice. I hope I'll be forgiven. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you for the wonderful lecture in the morning. We really enjoyed a lot of pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you, Ravi Lochan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Gaurchandra.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. After a long time listening to Lilamrtha and such wonderful pastimes, you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, thank you so much. Dandavat Pranam.
Okay, Prabhuji, I think somebody's trying to speak. Okay, Prabhuji, I think. Prasanatma Balaram Prabhu, you're trying to speak? Okay. I think we can end the class with the Vaishnava Pranam Prabhuji. Vancha Kalpata Rubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hi God, Premanand.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Shankar Shankar.
We will meet again tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. I will end the Zoom session.